Have you ever stayed up late at night to worry? Ugh. Or maybe you found yourself not being fully present for something like a sunset or a cuddle with your kitty or a meaningful conversation with someone you love. I'm Kristin Collier with Collier Connections. I'm a writer and I'm a coach that supports people in accessing their joy. And today I'm thinking about worry, where I used to spend a lot more time. And I've learned to notice my worry when it's coming up a lot faster, like in my body. What does worry feel like in your body? Would love to hear in the comments how you experience it. I think for a long time I was kind of just numb to it because I was so focused on what was going on the outside that there was to worry about. So now I notice it's that kind of twisty, icky feeling that kind of tightens up around my heart and weights me down around my hips. When I notice those feelings now, I pause and make a decision about whether I want to stay with those feelings or move towards something different. And a lot of that has to do with timing. So that's the second thing that I'm really aware of now, is at night is not the time to Google and find out what's wrong with me, right? Probably never, right? If I can't figure it out during the daytime, it's not worth it. No. So at night, I'm not asking those big questions around anything that I'm concerned about. Same within the morning, same thing. Whether it's about me or somebody else, like I'm going to save that for the middle of the day. Because at night and in the early morning, your brain waves are coming out of delta, or actually if you're going to bed, going towards bed, they're going into theta, towards delta when you're sleeping, and your brain waves are slowing down. Your brain becomes much, much more suggestible. And so it's a great time to program it for things that you want to be living in your life, but it's suggestible to things that we're concerned about. So it might take in our concern as there's something really wrong with me, or especially if we're reading about something that has some dire consequences, we can take that in as fact without even realizing that we've taken it in that deeply, because that's how our brain works. So we can literally strategically decide when we're going to look into something, and so that it doesn't get metabolized in our body as a thing, a part of us, right? Make sense? And another piece around that is then replacing, if we're being really attentive to our worry and deciding not to do it, if we don't decide what we're going to do instead, then in all likelihood, that worry is just going to keep knocking at the door, because nature abhors a vacuum. Did you ever notice that if you have a bare piece of ground and you don't plant a seed, then something you usually don't want is going to come up, right? We say a weed. I eat a lot of weeds, so it all depends on what you think of as a weed. At any rate, so replacing it with either a happier thought, like last night I was really worried about my cat not coming home. Where was he? And it was like late at night, and so I was concerned about that, so I was shifting my thinking towards, in the morning I'm so excited to go paddling on the lake, and I'm going to do this and that, and then I kept thinking again, but my cat, and so I kept switching to a happier thought, and I wasn't able to get that nice 20-second run into my happy thoughts, which would have been enough momentum to take me off of that worry path. And so I just let go of that strategy altogether and switched to feeling in my heart, just shifting my attention from thinking to feeling, and feeling a sense of gratitude and joy in my heart, really just first feeling into my heart just for the sensation of being in my heart. And noticing my breath. And then as I noticed that warmth expanded, then I started to sense into just the sensations around gratitude or other feelings that I enjoy. So I was guiding my awareness into feeling rather than into thought. And that worked last night, but if it hadn't been the ticket, then I could have gone one more direction, which is to give myself some empathy and really allow that feeling to move all the way through me, which I can do it a couple different ways. I can either allow it to move all the way through me without compounding it with other thoughts, just focusing on the uncomfortable feeling. A lot of times that's adequate to really let it roar through. And another thing I can do is to check in with myself more deeply about what need that's connected to. And in this case, it would be the need for well-being for my cat. And when I think about that, I'm like, oh my gosh, of course I want him to be well and I want him to be safe, but those are kind of two needs that are I'm seeing as intertwined. Well, they are in general, right? Universal needs, and of course I'm looking at them in reference to my kitty. And he loves being outside, and he was a stray when I got him, so definitely being outside is a way that he connects with the whole of who he is, and I like to be able to contribute to that. So yeah, getting some clarity that way and being able to feel those feelings through without experiencing them as bowling me over are ways to find some peace and ease with those uncomfortable emotions. I would love it if you come and visit me at collierconnections.com, because there is a Core Alignment with Joy series in the recorded form that I offer that goes deeper into practices around those directions to take your worry as we direct our attention towards what we want in our life, and that joy we want to experience, that gratitude, which really helps us to align. I find that a practice of joy helps me to align with wholeness, which makes everything else easier. And even as I'm directing my attention away from worry and towards feeling good, I want to say that it's kind of like magic that the situations and relationships in my life that I might be worried about, I find will either find their way into alignment with that sense of feeling good that I have, or they'll fall away. And that is really kind of a magical part of exploring this, which I wouldn't have known, honestly, if I hadn't given it a try. And if you haven't given it a try, I suggest you give it a try and find out how it affects you. I'd love to hear also how you work with worry in your life. And if you've enjoyed the content of this video, please like, comment, subscribe, share. Would love to see you again next time. And you know what? I have to show you this beautiful lake that I did come out to paddle on today. I love the Pacific Northwest. Oh my gosh. And I hope you're having an amazing day and enjoying whatever you're doing. Take care.